This here is a mechanical watch made in China from the last century. It's called Boshihua, meaning stone flower. If you take a real close look at it, you'll notice that its brand name is written in Chinese pinyin, not actual Chinese characters. I'll get into the Chinese pinyin thing a bit later. It's interesting. Look at that words down there. It tells us there are 17 jewels in the watch movement. Of course, just like most mechanical watches in the world, the jewels in the movement are not natural ones but synthetic ones. At the bottom, we see 4 Chinese characters, Shanghai, China. You probably guessed that Shanghai is where it comes from. If we think back to when this watch was made, it was definitely a luxury item, at least for the Chinese folks back then. Why is that? Well, a watch like this usually cost you a whole month's salary. So you can see it was really pricey. Back then, China's industry wasn't all that advanced. And just like the Soviet Union, China was running a non-market economy at that time, what we call the planned economy. So, there were shortages of all sorts of stuff back then. Like, there weren't enough televisions, bicycles, electric fans, watches, and loads of other things. You couldn't just walk in and buy them with cash. Nope. You had to have those coupons that your work unit gave you. Only then could you buy them. It was all about trying to share out the limited things as fairly as possible in those tough times when everything was so scarce. If you like anything about timepieces, one thing's only I need from you guys, smash like button. If you like anything about timepieces, I appreciate that if you wanna subscribe the channel, so you can turn on notifications, all that good stuffs. I'm gonna post more videos about Chinese watches in the future. Okay, let's move on and see what the back of the watch looks like. Like I said before, the brand name Boshihua is in Chinese pinyin instead of Chinese character. You know why? It's got a lot to do with where it's from. Shanghai's been the most happening city in East Asia since the beginning of the last century. It's got all kinds of names, like the Asian Financial Center, the International City, the Fashion Hub, the Paris of the East. So to match up with the style of this city, the name had to be more international. And meanwhile, Chinese people can still get what it means through Chinese pinyin. Chinese characters are a really unique writing system. Unlike the Roman alphabets, Chinese characters are used to show meaning instead of sound. Because of this feature, there are 2 consequences. First of all, even if you know what a character means, you may not necessarily know how to pronounce it. So the Chinese people came up with Hanyu Pinyin, which is based on the pronunciation of Roman alphabets, and that solved the problem of character pronunciation. Second, Chinese characters are more like hieroglyphs. In fact, they evolved from hieroglyphs. Only they're more advanced than the ancient hieroglyphs. They can combine more condensed symbols to express more meanings. Just like in the Middle Ages in Europe, Latin was the common language across Europe. In ancient China, Chinese characters were also the common writing system. Because China was such a vast territory with a wide distribution of people, just like in medieval Europe, people from different regions sometimes had very different pronunciations. So much so that when people from 2 different places talked to each other, it was really hard for them to understand what the other was saying. But with Chinese characters as the unified writing system, even if people from 2 places couldn't communicate orally, they could still communicate through writing. The Chinese characters on the left mean shockproof, and the ones on the right mean stainless steel, so that means the whole watch case is made of stainless steel. At the bottom, it shows which watch factory made it. Right in the middle is a big flower, and that's the logo of this brand. The design of this back cover might have been inspired a bit by the back cover design of the Swiss watch brand Titoni. Next, let's find out what the real reason is for the watch to stop working. But first of all, open the back cover to see what's going on. Okay, we've seen a steel movement protective case. It has a certain anti-magnetic ability which can make the watch run more stably. This is what it looks like inside the watch cover. Let's shake the watch a little bit. The balance wheel inside still doesn't move. Try poking the balance wheel with tweezers again. It moved for less than a second and stopped again. I think it's possibly that there's something wrong with the balance wheel. Maybe the axle of the balance wheel is broken or the hairspring is deformed. I don't know. Let's go on with it and check it out. Pull out the crown. Take out the movement and then put the crown back in. Adjust the 3 hands to align them together. Put a piece of transparent film on it and then use the needle removing pliers to slowly take out the 3 hands. Be careful with this step or the dial will be damaged. This screw serves to fix the feet of the dial. So just loosen it and you can separate the dial. Surprise! There's glue inside. It must be done by the last watchmaker who repaired the watch. Never mind. Let's clean up the glue first. Okay, it's done. Start disassembling. Remove the balance wheel. Oops, it gave a frisky little jump. Okay. Clearly, the axle of the balance wheel is broken. This is the real reason why the watch stopped working. We just need to replace the balance wheel later. But now, what's more important is to disassemble it and clean the parts. It's necessary to unwind the mainspring before disassembling parts like bridges. Then you can remove the ratchet wheel. Barrel bridge. Then the barrel. Use a screwdriver to gently loosen the upper bridge. Take it off. Then take off the going wheels in turn. Turn the movement over and start removing the parts on the front side. Now that the disassembly is completed, start cleaning the glue on the main bridge. Now put all kinds of parts into the vessel for cleaning. Use ultrasonic waves to clean the movement parts once. Then wash them by hand with a brush. Now take off the broken balance wheel and replace it with a new one. Sorry, I missed the step of replacing the new balance wheel. Start assembling after cleaning. First, assemble the second wheel, the third wheel, the fourth wheel, the escape wheel. Be careful when assembling, as the escape wheel is easily deformed. After installing these gears in place, start to install the upper bridge. Be sure that the shafts of the gears should align with the jewel holes of the bridge. Test it once after installation to see if these gears run smoothly. It feels good. Start to screw. Insert the mainspring wheel. Then install the barrel bridge. Apply lubricating oil to the winding pinion. Turn the crown and check how the gears are running. Install the escapement fork. Wind the mainspring a few times and then test the bouncing condition of the escapement fork. Then install the balance wheel. Be especially careful as this installation is rather tricky. Drop lubricating oil into almost all the jewel holes. However, pay attention to the amount of lubricating oil. If too much oil is applied, it will affect the accuracy of timekeeping. If too little, it will affect the lifespan of the lubricating oil. Put some lubricating oil on the hour wheel. Pull out the crown and give it a try to see if the gears are installed properly. Very well. Cover the hour wheel. Don't forget to put the spring plate in place. This thing can make the hour wheel run steadily in a fixed position and prevent it from popping out and causing time misalignment. Then cover the dial. After it's installed in place, turn it over and start tightening the side screws. Just as I said before, these two side screws serve the purpose of fixing the two legs of the dial. After that, install the hands. Start with the hour hand first, then the minute hand. Finally, cover the watch case. Turn it over. Insert the crown. On this model, in order to insert the crown all the way in and make sure it's in place, you must use tweezers to press the small button on it and do both things at the same time. All right. Put it on the watch tester and test the data. Since it's a very old watch, we can't be too harsh on it. The data is kinda acceptable, though the amplitude is a bit low. Let's wear it for another 2 days and see if this data can go up. Put the anti-magnetic cover on. Finally, screw the back cover on. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.